The Galactic Council chamber fell silent as Admiral Zextar's tentacles trembled against the communication console. The message had arrived on an archaic frequency, one that hadn't been used in over 3 centuries. The translation matrix struggled with the primitive language patterns, but the meaning was unmistakable. "They're back," he whispered to the assembled delegates. Council Speaker Vorthak, a towering crystalline being from the Andorian Collective, raised his luminescent head. Impossible. The humans were declared extinct after the Great Silence. We verified the destruction of their homeworld ourselves. The signal originated from the Outer Rim, Zextar continued, his voice barely containing his fear. Sector 7841, the Dead Zone. A collective shudder ran through the chamber. The Dead Zone. A region of space so cold and hostile that even the most advanced civilizations avoided it. Nothing could survive there for long, let alone thrive for 300 years. The message played again, crackling through the ancient speakers. "This is Captain Elena Vasquez of the United Earth Remnant Fleet. We know what you did. We remember. And we're coming home." 3 centuries earlier, humanity had been nothing more than a curious anomaly to the Galactic Council. A young species that had barely mastered faster-than-light travel, making their first tentative steps into the cosmic community. They were weak, their technology primitive, their lifespans laughably short. The Council had classified them as a minor species, useful for manual labor and resource extraction, but hardly worthy of full membership. When the humans had requested representation in the Council, the response had been swift and brutal. "Know your place," the hegemony had declared. When humanity persisted, asking for basic rights and protection under galactic law, the Council had made an example of them. The orbital bombardment of Earth had lasted 3 days. The surviving human colonies were systematically hunted down and destroyed. The galaxy watched as an entire species was erased from existence, a reminder of what happened to those who overreached. But the Council had made one critical error. They had underestimated human stubbornness. Captain Elena Vasquez stood on the bridge of the Defiance, her weathered hands gripping the command rail as she gazed out at the fleet stretching endlessly before her. 12,000 ships, some cobbled. Together from salvaged parts, others built in the hidden shipyards of the Dead Zone using technologies that would make the Council's scientists weep. Behind her, Commander Chen reviewed the tactical displays. "All fleets report ready, Captain. The Wraithwing is in position for the first strike. Ghost Squadron has infiltrated Council space and is awaiting orders." Elena nodded, her breath forming small clouds in the perpetually cold bridge air. The Dead Zone had been brutal, but it had forged humanity into something the galaxy had never seen before. 300 years of survival in the most hostile environment imaginable had transformed them from a minor species into apex predators. "Signal all ships," she commanded. "Today we remind the galaxy what they tried to destroy." The first sign of humanity's return came at the Proxima Station, a major trade hub on the edge of Council space. The station's early warning systems detected nothing. One moment space was empty, the next, human ships materialized as if from nowhere. Station Commander Krillex barely had time to send a distress signal before the human fleet opened fire. But these weren't the crude kinetic weapons the Council remembered. Beams of coherent energy that cut through shielding like it was paper. Missiles that phased in and out of dimensional space, appearing inside enemy hulls before detonating. The battle lasted 17 minutes. When it was over, Proxima Station was a drifting hulk, and humanity had announced its return to the galaxy. Admiral Zextar stared at the tactical readouts in disbelief. How is this possible? Their technology, it's beyond anything we've ever encountered. The human fleet moved through Council space like ghosts, appearing without warning, striking with surgical precision, then vanishing back into the void. They targeted military installations, government facilities, and most tellingly, the monuments erected to commemorate humanity's extinction. "They've been watching us," realized Council Speaker Vorthak. "All these years they've been studying us, learning our weaknesses." Dr. Sim-Ara, the Council's chief xenobiologist, pulled up the historical files. "The psychological profiles we compiled 3 centuries ago, we classified humans as persistence hunters. A species that doesn't give up, that tracks its prey across impossible distances and time frames." The terrifying truth began to dawn on the assembled leaders. Humanity hadn't been destroyed. They had been exiled to the most hostile region of space, where they had spent 3 centuries preparing for this moment. Elena stood before the massive viewscreen showing the capital world of the Galactic Council. The planet's orbital defenses, once considered impregnable, had fallen in hours. The human fleet hung in space above the homeworld of their former oppressors like an ancient sword of justice. "Open a channel to the council chambers," she ordered. The bow communication link crackled to life, and Elena found herself face to face with the same species that had ordered the death of her people. The irony wasn't lost on her that she was now older than most of them. Human life extension technology had advanced considerably during their exile. "This is Captain Elena Vasquez, speaking for the United Earth Remnant Fleet," she began, her voice carrying the weight of 3 centuries of suffering. "You thought you had erased us from existence. You were wrong." Admiral Zextar's tentacles writhed nervously. "What do you want? Revenge? The destruction of our worlds?" Elena's laugh was cold as the void between stars. "Revenge? No. We want what we asked for 300 years ago. Recognition, respect, and a guarantee that no species will ever suffer what you did to us." She leaned forward, her eyes reflecting the hard steel forged in the crucible of the dead zone. "You see, Admiral, you taught us something valuable. You showed us that the only language the galaxy understands is strength. Well, we've spent 3 centuries learning to speak it fluently." The human fleet began to move, taking positions around key council worlds, not to destroy, but to occupy, to ensure that the lesson was learned. "The age of the Galactic Council is over," Elena declared. "Welcome to the age of the United Galactic Commonwealth, where every species has a voice, and where the strong protect the weak instead of preying upon them." In the cold of space, they had waited. In the cold of space, they had grown strong. And now, the Forgotten Ones had risen to reshape the galaxy in their image, not through conquest, but through the application of the one lesson the Council had taught them. Sometimes the apex predators are the ones you never see coming.